to have you here for our business briefing on a really important topic, talking about the future of sustainable tourism here in Asia. I'm Wan Ha. I'm Bloomberg's senior reporter for global business and also host of our Asia Big Take podcast that's just launched. And it's so great to have you here. We are thrilled to be having these discussions. But before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge our summit advisors, Red Sea Global, and we've got a short video that we'd like to share with you this morning.
The relationship between tourism and nature has always been a very important relationship. But unfortunately, it has been always a negative relationship where one is thriving over the other. We need to change the fundamentals of how we are approaching things. What Red Sea Global is trying to do is have a very different approach. We believe that tourism does stand a very good chance as an industry to be the role model, to demonstrate to the world how things can be done differently. The scientists were the first people we engaged with for the development of this project, to make sure that we enhance our understanding of the environment and the habitats that are here in the location. This is our first million mangrove seedlings that are now making their way to their plantation site on the islands and on the coast. You see the crab? Just went into its hole. Those crabs were not here. And they're here now because of the mangrove nursery. That's how we know that we have created a viable habitat for those crabs. And now those crabs are attracting the birds. Regenerative tourism is everybody within the whole system taking part in regeneration, where the guests will be part of that regeneration. Guests will be able to contribute to that regeneration, not only enjoy it when they come out of their rooms on the islands. And this is how we're keeping a connection with the local community. They're employed everywhere within the company. And this is because we need to learn from them and we need to work with them in order for this tourism destination to succeed. The designers and the engineers are building wonders, and the people on the environmental and sustainability side are teaming up with them at every single stage to make sure that we deliver it in a way that is the Red Sea way.
Great, such an interesting and obviously important topic. And we're really lucky to have Dr. Maryam Ficociello, who is Red Sea's Chief Corporate Governance Officer. She'll be really, in conversation here with Paul Armstrong with Bloomberg Media Studios, really talking about the next frontier of sustainable tourism. Please.
Welcome to Singapore.
Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be back. It's my third time. People keep on asking me if I've been before, so it's my third time and I love coming back. Fantastic. Well, we've seen an inspiring video, I hope you'll agree, and potentially game-changing for an industry responsible for, by some estimates, 8% of global greenhouse gas emissions. But we'll get into that in a moment. But first, if you could, for those not as familiar with Red Sea Global, if you could talk a little bit about Red Sea Global together with more on your own particular role. Of course. So, good morning, everyone. Red Sea Global is a real estate development company. We focus on coastal development. Our mission is to really just do that, to where we have a portfolio of developments across the Red Sea coast, the Saudi Red Sea coast, and it includes, our portfolio includes tourism, experiences, so marine and seaside experiences, infrastructure, transport, healthcare, everything that will help bring our destinations to life with all the kind of infrastructure and support services that we need. We started our development back in 2017. We've welcomed our first guests in 2023 at our first destination, which is Red Sea, and then we're on plan as well, on track to deliver our welcome guests in 2025 to our second destination, which is called Amala. So those are the two main destinations of Red Sea. We're part of Vision 2030. Vision 2030 is maybe something you've heard about. It's the blueprint of Saudi Arabia's strategy to diversify our economy away from oil. So we were traditionally focused on oil, of course, but now we've diversified into a number of new sectors, including tourism, entertainment, heritage and culture. And we're hoping that we are one of those pillars that are contributing to the tourism sector in that. We've always kind of taken the responsibility to be visionary developers and responsible developers, and so that's a big part of what we do. You've seen in the video how we try and give back to the environment as much as we can, and we can talk about that a bit later. But in terms of my role, I'm the Chief Governance Officer, so I look after governance, risk, and compliance for the company. I've been with them for 7 years from the very beginning. And we also issue the sustainability reports that you might have seen online. We've issued 3 so far, and we are due to issue our 4th one next week, hopefully.
Fantastic. So zooming in a little bit more, your primary focus is regenerative tourism. Can you explain a little bit more about that and how it differs perhaps from sustainable tourism?
Yeah, so we've always said that we want to do things differently and we want to be responsible developers. And for us, doing things differently was an option because we're in a greenfield area. So it's not like we're going into a brownfield area where we have to fix things. We have the opportunity to do things right from the very beginning. And we believe that sustainability is no longer enough. So it's not enough that we just sustain what we have in our environment. We have to give back and do more and create a positive impact. And for us, that is what we coin as, or we try and refer to as regenerative tourism. It's giving back more than what we've taken. So if we've arrived at a destination or an island and there's so much happening, we hope that by the time we leave that island, we have created more positive than negative. And that includes, for example, planting more corals, planting more mangroves, and especially not only replacing what we've taken away, that's just sustainability, but adding more to the environment. So more positive impact wherever we go. That's what we consider regenerative.
So we've seen in the video that Red Sea's positive environmental impact is so powerfully articulated. But can you talk a little bit more about the social impact, perhaps how you connect with local communities?
Yeah, so we believe that it's not only enough to do positive for the environment. I mean, we do a lot of positive things for the environment, from ensuring that we have renewables in terms of being powered 100% by the sun. We have the largest, or we want to be the largest destination powered by renewables. We've installed already 760,000 photovoltaic panels across our destination, and we have also battery facilities to ensure that we have the right storage for our renewable and electricity uses. But that's just on the environmental side. On the people side, we also believe that we have to do good for the people, so we've been investing in the local community from the very beginning. We had an ambition and an expectation that we would generate about 120,000 jobs throughout our development, either directly from working with us in our hotel destinations or indirectly working with all our partners. And we've been investing in the local community throughout this. So we started off with a number of programs. One of them, we have a vocational training program that started 2 years ago, and we've already graduated the first batch of vocational students. It's 430 students. They're all working at our destinations. And we just opened our second batch of applications for the vocational training. Our vocational training covers 3 main areas: hotel services, so hospitality, airport services, and engineering. And that's just on the vocational side. We also have graduate programs, so we have scholarships that covered 107 students to go to it was a partnership bachelor's program in hospitality with a local university, Prince Migrin University, and it's accredited by École, I have to read out the name because I always forget the name of that program, that university, but it's the École Hôtelière de Lausanne Hospitality Business School, and it's accredited by them. And the first 107 students have already graduated and are working at our destinations. So those are some of the the training programs that we have with the local community, 40% of all the programs and all the students that have joined our different vocational as well as graduate programs come from the local community. We've also engaged heavily with the local communities and everywhere in all our destinations to just get advice from them and understand what are the issues that are important to them. We know that whenever we have development, you can't have development and not have inflation. Mm-hmm. Inflation comes with development, and that affects negatively usually the local communities. So we engaged with them to ensure that we are facilitating better jobs for them, better work opportunities, and they've also been very helpful with us in helping us understand what's kind of important to them in terms of preserving their culture, what's important to them in terms of also welcoming tourists. And so we've been able to do a number of very interesting things, including, for example, a mango co-op or a farming co-op called Tamala, which focuses on improving the mango farming. People don't think there's mangoes in Saudi Arabia. We have quite a mango industry, especially in the area of Umluj, where one of our first destinations are. And that was important to the local community, that they improve their mango farming. And so we created this co-op just to help them. And that co-op not only does mango, it does other kinds of fruit and veg, and it will be supplied to and it's already supplied to our destinations, and we serve we serve them, and of course, you know, we are able to cater local produce to our guests. So that's just one example. There's also an old culture of sailing in the Red Sea, and the local communities have been engaging with us about how important that is to them. We've helped them refurbish some of their old sailboats, and now that's something that our guests can visit and experience how sailing used to happen for generations in this area of the Red Sea. So those are some of the ways we're engaging. We have an open dialogue with them all the time and just make sure that we're helping improve their livelihood as well as engaging them in everything we do so that they're part of the journey.
So if I can pivot to challenges, you've built a pretty compelling argument in this room, but how do you attract tourists that sort of value and are willing to pay for this type of regenerative tourism experience?
So we've done a lot of surveys earlier on while we were trying to understand kind of what is the niche market that we're going to focus on. And I think one important thing for us as Saudi Arabia is trying to diversify its economy away from oil is what is the interest worldwide for people to come to Saudi Arabia? We know there's an interest because for the longest time we only had religious tourism. So the only way you would come in is either to work or for religious tourism to Mecca, Medina, and the holy sites. But we knew there was curiosity. A lot of people wanted to come and see what else is there in Saudi if they're not working and they just want to visit. And we knew we had beautiful places. We have mountainous regions, we have seaside regions, we have the desert, of course, a lot of the brown desert. And so we started surveying kind of, you know, what do tourists want? What are they looking for? Is it just curiosity? Because curiosity is not enough. You'll come one time and not come back again. But what are you looking for? And what we found looking at some of the feeder markets that we study, as well as looking at surveys that are publicly available, like Booking.com's recent survey in 2024, they found that 83% of travelers want to have a positive impact, want to do sustainable experiences, want to do more good while they're traveling, and not only try to avoid harm, but try and leave a positive impact where they travel. And we find that actually works very well with what we see as regenerative tourism. We've been catering for the traveler that not only is not only trying to kind of leave a positive impact, but also wants to do better and leave the place they've left without any harm and give back to that place. So we believe that that's what we're trying to cater for, that you're not only going to travel to a curious destination that hasn't been open to the public for a long time, but you're leaving having created a positive impact. And that could be, for example, waking up in the morning while you're at our destination and planting a mangrove. It's part of our plan that we plant at least 50 million mangroves, and we're on track to do that. And then maybe in the afternoon you go and have some local Saudi cuisine and support, the local communities and the farmers that are in the area. And then at night you'll be maybe, stargazing in our dark sky destinations, which are protecting the vegetation and the kind of biodiversity that we have. So we're hoping that we appeal to this customer that wants to do good, wants to leave more of a positive impact on any destination they visit. We know that means that traveler will be paying probably more because of all the investments that we also have to put into our destinations to keep that level of regeneration in place. But we believe that it also means that person is happier, and it's what people want these days as well.
Well, I know I'm sold. Unfortunately, that's time. But ladies and gentlemen, if you give me a warm round of applause for Dr. Maryam Ficociello.